Yeah, before coming here, I was thinking we've had we're talking about the sort of the changes that IT is bringing into the world, right? And the pace of change that is happening because of this digital revolution and so forth and so on.
Correct.
We have been stuck with systems of government that have been around for years and years and years. They don't respond to current needs of society. So should we really be looking at ditching these traditional definitions of the ways of living together and having a complete relook at how countries should run? I mean, we've been ditching democracy and they're trying to sort of twiddle on the ends and sort of make it better, doing this, doing the other, and having lots of research done on that. Perhaps we should just ditch it completely and have a completely new way of government that actually stops this kind of clown type thing, or actually makes clowns better. Whatever it does, but it's just a complete new system of government.
Patrick, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
we should do.
Just kick it out.
And the point is, you talk to any knowledgeable Kenyan, they will say to you, look, you know, this thing is not working. We have to have a radical change. But, you know, it's very, very important here always. You know, look, my father went to a doctor, okay, and he had a pain in his stomach. Okay, you've got to have your appendix removed. The appendix was removed. In fact, it was perfect. There was no problem. He still had, well, he got over the pain because psychologically, okay, you know, you feel
Correct.
better. After a little bit of time, okay, the pain was back, okay, and he actually had cancer of the pancreas from which he died. Now, the only thing is, all the time, doctors in Kenya are misdiagnosing people. We know Caesar Wangi and I, John, he was a partner in Deloitte's, okay, he died, a young man, okay, and I can tell you countless other people who've been misdiagnosed. Now the problem here, you see, is, you know, you got to look at the functioning of a country, and you know, for example, you were mentioning the thing about housing.
Yes.
I saw a headline in The Nation: rate capping has been removed. The housing market is going to boom. Whoever wrote that is not using his akili, or he doesn't know. Because, you know, or the KBA, the Kenya Bankers Association, Habilolaka, maybe has actually convinced him that it's a rate capping. There's no connection between rate capping and the property market.
On the property market.
We have an incredible oversupply of housing at the top end, not at the lower end. Okay?
Right.
So what happens is, when you have this incredible supply, and there's no money in the economy because the government is not paying its debts, just like the government in Dubai, actually.
Yes.
That's why more companies are leaving Dubai than going to Dubai at the moment. But you have a shortage of money in the economy. People, I met a man who's owed 40 million shillings by Meru County. He hasn't been paid. He's bankrupt. He's a rich man, but he's bankrupt. So he's got to sell his property. Look at Monday's Nation had 8 pages of auctioneers' sales.
Yes.
8 pages.
8 pages.
It's never been that big.
Good. We shall come back to that. Of course, that is also the topic of the day this morning.
Change the whole system of government.
Right, the whole system of government. So
I've managed to
we shall take, but yeah, but Dr. McPhee, don't you think also it's unfair for you to say that the Kenyan doctors actually they're misdiagnosing their patients, using a very broad paintbrush to actually, you know, brush all the doctors? We have good doctors in the country as well.
But why do 6,000 Kenyans spend 1 million shillings every year going to India? Why? Why?
And I think it's a question of a bad apple messes the whole basket of apples.
Okay.
Yeah, than anything else. I think, and he's right. And the fees there, you can't believe how much you're charged. And the federal, I have cases where my friends almost lost their lives because somebody gave the last diagnosis. You know? And I think what at the end of the day, it's not the doctors, it's not whether. Look at where I work at the University of Nairobi. You know, it's like a circus. It's like we are full of cartoons, I included. But it's a lack of seriousness, a lack of integrity to what we do in this country. Yeah. And that's why we get the people like this. I'm happy that I had a glass of champagne last night because I come from that county. And I think it's something we should learn.
They're producing champagne. I better come back.
No, but just talking about the medical profession.
Yes.
Because this is a profession we deal with even in our industry. There is a problem of the extraction mentality, okay, which is paramount in the country, and it has not. It is also affecting the medical profession. So every time people go to a hospital, there is a desire to find a way of extracting, especially when they're on insurance, okay? And this is what is causing, in fact, medical insurance to be a bit more expensive and become very unprofitable for insurance companies in general. So perhaps in India, the idea of extraction from the patients is not as high as it is here. But here it is, what can I make out of this patient? So let me send him for as many tests or for as many tests as possible, even if they are necessary. And in the process, the medical experience becomes very, very expensive. And if you don't get well because of misdiagnosis, then give up on it. And that is perhaps what is happening sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. But I think in India, these incidences are not as high as here. And so we've got to look at our outlook. How do we do business, or how do we serve other people? Do we serve them, or do we find ways of just milking them? And I think this is where the problem is.
All right, thank you. Well, we got on to just move on with the dailies. You see, that is what is on the front page of the Daily Nation, and that is a pulse giver for you. Why do Kenyans vote for clowns supported by power barons because of their crowd-pleasing theatrics? Social misfits such as Waititu, Sonko and Babu Wino have taken society hostage. The story is tucked away on page 10 of the Daily Nation this morning.